was the demonstration on Monday and the seminars yesterday. Monday's demonstration was extremely enjoyable. It was not a big one, but we had the Finnish improvising theatre with us, very artistic girls, and we made this Swedish woods attribute as for the victims of atomic industry, and we laid it at the parliament, and then we went further to Raoul Wallenberg's, and we started at Medborgarplatsen. And so the victim coffin ended up at Raoul Wallenberg's place. And this is Parliament with the most powerful anti-nuclear scientist in the world. And then afterwards we checked how people were receiving this piece of art, and there was interest. It was quite a powerful message because they were passing by, and there were even leaflets in the pocket of this piece. And in the evening we had this music and glory evening, and it was absolutely marvelous because there are very many talents in the company. So many people were singing, and we had a wonderful time. And this is Åke Sundström, who gave a speech yesterday. We had a wonderful seminar, very tiring because it was 6 hours non-stop seminar. But the economy illusion of nuclear industry was dealt with. It was properly described. The fraud of budget system in the nuclear industry economy was revealed. And we have professor from Belarus, Georgy Fyodorovich Lepin, who was also describing this issue. And that is Per Hägglund, who gave a presentation about Studsvik. The first time he gave this type of Studsvik presentation, so it was very spectacular and interesting event. And we had Nils Axel Mörner with us describing all the geology, problems of repositories, but he even described the Baltic Sea levels that are not rising through his theory. Then Roland and me, we gave presentations about the nuclear colonization of Baltic Sea region and how it goes with the military industry of Sweden in particular, who is per capita the biggest weapon producer in the world. And,
per capita?
I told that, yeah. Per capita. And so we are a bit exhausted today because it has been enormously intense days, but it has been a very powerful event. But most important event is indeed today, because today we will enrich our capacities in networking around the Baltic Sea and in the whole world. We want to create this Baltic Sea region level organization, which we have sort of already created, but the networking base has to be improved drastically. And we were not even lucky. It was meant to be so, that the Baltic Sea tour was organized by German groups, and it was an idea of Per Hägglund. You know Per Hägglund also, yeah? He appeared here. And but it was the idea was brought through into life by the Germans, and it was a very beautiful piece. And this is the networking part of this tour. And I will put, the next slides I will put to you here are the slides from Riga, where we also monitored the events.
This one is so
So, Andre, maybe you could take and say some words while I'm looking for it, because Andre will be helping me to moderate this network meeting, because I feel a bit exhausted now, and he has agreed to help me.
Sure, I can help, but probably we need to start with introduction and with discussion how to spend this 1.5 hours or 2.5 hours.
Future more than looking back.
Right, but first of all, I have a question. Did anyone notice, was there any reflection of the rally in media? Because when Infotour was in Malmö, we have an article in the local newspapers, Skånska Dagbladet, and it was quite an anti-nuclear article with a picture, so we delivered the message not only to these people who were around us, but to the readers. So if anyone has an idea, what was this demonstration covered?
Don't think so.
but we haven't looked.
No, where is it? How would it be?
And there it is.
There's the lady there who
Yeah, I
say
can
something.
say something. I tried to go in yesterday evening and to find the only thing I have found that is expressed. It's not about the manifestation or about the Baltic Sea. It's about Fallujah. Nina Nikander wrote in Expressen about Fallujah and the effects of war. So if someone wants to read it, I can send it around.
Yeah, that's very nice.
I can leave it.
And here are the Riga events, where we also had a presentation at the Environmental Ministry in the big hall there. And then we had the event at the Freedom Monument. It was a very spectacular Finnish improvising theatre, again with the victim coffin, symbolically having a ceremony around the freedom goddess of Latvian people. And the coffin ended up at the Science Ministry. And very interestingly, the Minister of Education and Science of Latvia came out at the same moment when Christopher Busby was interviewed in front of the place, and so we got interviewed with her, and then afterwards we met even a whole group of nuclear scientists in Latvia. And maybe Chris, you could tell something about it.
Yes, well, we were just talking in front of the ministry, and this lady came out dressed up.
The minister came out.
And so we just grabbed her, and said, do you know how radioactive the Baltic Sea is, and so forth. And she agreed then to meet with us to talk this through, because she said she didn't know anything about this. So
she didn't know about nuclear waste repositories being built in the Baltic Sea, and we have it on tape, so even ministers are not informed.
So this was quite a great development out of the demonstration, because we then got to meet with her senior advisors on radiation, about 6 of them, I think, 4 or 5 of them anyway. They were the top people, and they were really very interested, and they agreed that they would consider becoming involved in a study of the radioactivity of the Baltic and its effects on health in Latvia. So that was a great development, and I haven't had the time to write a proposal, but we are going to write a proposal and send it off to them and see if we can get the Latvians anyway on board. The point about the point about the nations around, as I see it, around the Baltic Sea, is that they fall into 2 camps. There's the nations that don't have nuclear power and really don't have any buy-in, but there's the ones like Sweden and Finland which do have nuclear power. I suppose Russia also, but and so there's an opposition to conducting research in these countries, but these are the countries where we have to apply pressure. So we have to apply pressure in Sweden particularly, and also in Finland, and I think we can do that, but. My feeling about these sorts of networks is that, and I've done a lot of networking in the green movement and in the anti-nuclear movement, is that you have to have some kind of project, Otherwise, all you do is you write to each other and you say, hey, how's it going? And you say, yes, I'm still here, and so on. And you give each other a bit of love and support and energy, and you meet from time to time. But actually nothing happens, you know, nothing happens. If you want to change the world, you have to actually do something, in my experience, you know. Yes?
Yeah.
Olof is in Sweden, the head of the Helsinki Commission for 2 years at the moment.
Writing to the Swedish government or mentoring the
Who is this? Who is this?
Baltic Sea.
Yeah, the head of the Helsinki Commission.
Yes, they had for 2 coming years. They took over the other day.
When?
When
Well, last week, you mean? What, now?
Now we have written yes to 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yes.
What? I don't get it.
2 weeks ago, Sweden took over the presidency of the Helsinki Commission, so it's no longer based in Finland now. They've moved it to Sweden.
It is here?
Yes,
We chased them out of Finland. That's what we did, didn't we? We went to see them in
Chris,
Finland.
give me 5.
Sorry. So now
Anyway,
they're
but
pulling back.
don't know. Only it's the operator of the commission is perhaps Sweden at the moment.
Fantastic.
but you mean they geographically have moved into
I
Sweden?
don't know.
Or
Don't know. Only the leadership, perhaps.
The control.
the office is
control.
still in Finland?
I don't know.
Okay. Then we will. Very nice information.
This
Thank
is
you.
very important information. I'm so pleased that we heard this. This is extraordinary news. Extraordinary news. We're putting massive pressure on these people, you see. We went to see them in Helsinki, and when we got there, this is Helcom, there was another person there from Stuk. So we didn't ask to see Stuk. Stuk is the radiation protection people in Helsinki, okay? And Stuk is very big in the EU. Stuk is in charge of the high-level expert group for assessing radiation risk in the whole of the European community. That's Stuk. And so when we went to see Helcom, what happened is that the man that we went to see said, "Oh, I'm afraid I have a colleague here from Stuk who wants to be in on the meeting." And so they're very interested in what we're doing. We also went to see the cancer registry and asked them for the data, for the cancer data, you see, so they know what's happening. Anyway, so it's quite extraordinary that now they've moved this whole operation to Sweden, because and so they're kind of pulling up the depleted uranium.
I think very few people in Sweden know what Helsinki Commission is. I was looking for it when we had the meeting at Östhammar.
Yeah.
On the 6th of February. I made a notice from Zero where we had a point at the high radioactivity outside Forsmark in the bottom of the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
I talked to you, 6 times higher radiation than in Chernobyl.
Yeah,
I
sure.
read it right in your book. And I got the information from the Helsinki Commission.
Yeah, sure.
And they said it was 140,000 becquerel per square meter outside Forsmark, and it was 20,000 in Chernobyl.
Yes, yes, that's right. Yes, and we the interesting thing here is that the data, the historical data from Helcom, which is available, is not available on the internet. So I wrote to them, and we had to actually go there and get it. When we went there, they gave us a big pile of books, which is the historical data going right back to 1980, which is what I wanted. But I bet now that it's in Sweden, if we went and asked for it, they'd say, "Oh well, sorry, we don't have this. It's disappeared, or somebody burned it accidentally, or something."
Maybe they won't say that.
Well, we'll have to chase them into Sweden. That's for sure. Yeah.
And what we are trying is to get an investigation of the sedimentation in the bottom of the sea and the river Dalälven down to Gävle.
That's right.
That was the main downfall from Chernobyl that came over Sundsvall, Gävle. And there is very high radiation in the bottom of the sea. So we would like to take samples 200 kilometers north and 200 kilometers south from Gävle to see how high is the level of radioactive particles in the bottom of our seas and our rivers.
Well, we can measure that, you know. I've got a laboratory. We can measure
Maybe you
that
should
stuff.
tell people who you are.
We should all,
Yeah.
We should all tell, yeah. I'm sorry that this is such a chaotic beginning.
Chaotic is good in my experience. I like chaotic.
Yeah, maybe you can move.
But
Yeah, why don't you create a
But here is a list now that will go around, and please put your names down, okay? And I suggest that we make sort of, right now we have a U form because we will use the presentation, but it's sort of a circle-shaped system, and that we can go around and present ourselves sort of in 3 sentences, not too wide. Maybe you could start, and I got.
Hello, I'm Vitaly Saretnik from Murmansk, northwest of Russia. I represent Murmansk regional youth public environmental organization Nature and Youth. And we are biggest youth organization in our region, and we work with different issues with energy and climate mostly, and nuclear energy, and renewable energy, and a bit with GMO issues and animal protections a little bit. And of course with environmental education, education of students, ordinary people, politicians and all.
I think your name was not clear.
Vitaly Saretnik.
Vitaly.
Saretnik.
Can you write it down on the paper again?
You sure?
Yeah.
What's your Murmansk
Is zooming in
group
and out.
called?
Nature and Youth. Russian природа и молодежь.
Nature Youth of Russia. De jobbar alltså med genmanipulation och djurrätt också.
Short it's Russian team. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I am Svante Malmström from Oulu in northern Finland, but I'm Swedish originally. And this tour will end in Oulu, so I will be part of the last stop there. And since I was here in Sweden now, I was at this climate camp outside Uppsala the week before, so then I had an opportunity to stay here.
Miljöförbundet hade alltså ett läger i Uppsala, Nilsatrakten.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Selvi Vuosijärvi. I come from Oulu, the same city, and I've been working with these NPP issues and also with uranium mining issues in northern Finland.
Sorry, don't use abbreviations. NPP, you have to say
Nuclear power plant. I think you know about the Fennovoima plant. It's really near in Oulu, where they are going to set up one nuclear power plant, and the groups that I'm taking part are Nuclear Free Finland, and then I've been working quite long in Luontoliitto, which is like a nature youth organization, but it's not with this nature youth. It's connected otherwise, and I've been doing the climate and energy issues as a volunteer quite a long time.
What was your name?
Same
Sandy.
And we will copy this list to everybody. If there is anybody at the copying desk, that's the question, of course. Otherwise, we will send it out to you.
And I hope that if there is some time for to present the Finnish situation and maybe the cooperation.
Exactly. So please, who wants to make a presentation, you can say that, and we will put you there on the list. Standing out. Would you like to do that? Yeah. Go on.
Yes. My name is Sigrid Brede, and I come from Rock Solidarity Association in Stockholm. And maybe today won't be the right occasion, but I'm also here because Chris Busby has made this study about the children in Fallujah and the birth defects, cancer and other illnesses, and if there might be connections with the depleted uranium weapons. And that is one of the projects of our association to support the study about these connections and try to form an opinion around this. I don't know if you want to discuss it for some minutes during today. I can only be here till 4 o'clock today. But I can tell you that right now we are, our collection is collecting money to help the study and the children in Fallujah. And I think it is a very important question where also a breakthrough could be possible when people see the effects and could believe or understand, and we could see get results from the studies and help it to come through.
Study where?
Studies like the one Chris
Where?
is
Where?
on Fallujah, on the
Exactly, in the
blood
Fallujah.
samples, hair samples, and everything. It needs a lot of money. I mean, it's only solidarity money that will pay the studies to help the children and their families in Fallujah. And I have a paper for those who haven't got it. If you want it, I can. You just ask me.
You can put there behind you. We have some materials there.
Yes.
By the way, Christopher Busby's book materials are there behind there on the.
So, because I also hope you will spread it. There are so many serious problems, from the poisoning of the Baltic Sea and everything that is being discussed. But this is a concrete project also, and people who are aware of how dangerous it is with radiation and low radiation also take care of this question.
Well, people will wake up when they realize that the dust is blowing here. We get uranium poisoned all over the world.
Wonderful. So please, continue.
Well, I'm Roland Davidsson. I'm representing ZERO, Swedish Renewable Energy Organization. We are working with the alternative to nuclear power, sun, wind and water. And at the moment we have a little bit problems with the nuclear. They are taking over. So I'm a member of investigating group in Sweden for spent nuclear fuel. Since 12 years I have been a member of that group, and I have tried to investigate as much as I can what problems do we have to store the nuclear waste 500 meters down in our underground. And we have a big problem in Sweden, and that's the intermediate storage of nuclear waste in Oskarshamn. And that could cause huge problems if something happens. It's not allowed in the United States to store used fuel more than 5 years in water. And we have 5,000 tons of the nuclear fuel, and something can happen if you read the so-called zero alternative in the
5,000 tons is a total Swedish.
In Oskarshamn, just in Oskarshamn, 5,000 tons.
At the moment, in the end of the nuclear era, if we say so, it's calculated to be 12,000 tons.
If they don't build new and bigger reactors.
Yes, with the status at the moment.
But that's a total Swedish burnt out fuel from all
nuclear reactors at the moment who are at operation.
So there's no fuel somewhere else, all in Oskarshamn?
No, it's only from Swedish nuclear power stations.
Yes.
And it's
So
in
we have
it's in
5,000
ponds.
tons at the moment.
It's in ponds. In water.
Yes, it's in a basin.
Yeah.
Pool.
We have 30,000 cubic meter water. But if the fuel elements, the zirconium is coming over the surface of the water, it can start burning like nitrogen. And that's when you have to evacuate north of the world, north of Europe. It's terrible to have it there. And I'm against club. We must put it in a safe store like the Germans, caster cylinders, or like United States in dry casks. It's terrible to have it in water. It's not allowed in the United States. See, after 9/11.
So what's the name of the group?
Zero.
Swedish Alternative Energy Organization.
But it's also in det är väl Naturskyddsföreningens...
No,
Nej.
I'm zero. We are financed by the Swedish.
Yeah, but you said you were in a group for spent fuel.
Yes. We have Naturskyddsföreningen,
Yeah.
we have Milkas, and we have Zero.
Oh,
We
Zero
are,
has
we are founded by the foundation
Okay.
for spent nuclear fuel.
Yeah.
So we are working together.
State pays some money for the environment movements criticizing the way of treating the fuel.
Three main groups.
Okay, maybe Rabbit could also introduce himself, because those people which you are sitting among have already introduced themselves.
I'm Graham Rabbit.
Graham?
Graham Rabbit.
Graham?
Yes.
No, Graham.
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 Graham
Yeah,
Rabbit.
there's difference in spelling, but I won't go into that. That's why I use Rabbit, because it's a lot easier.
Okay.
No.
No.
Yes, with one E on the end. E on the end. E.
On the end.
Yes.
Oh,
E.
Yes.
Estland.
Yeah.
Graham. Okay. All the way from New Zealand.
Yeah, from New Zealand. We don't. Well, we have a anti-nuclear policy in New Zealand since quite a few years now. Not even allowing any nuclear-powered vessels to come into our waters. Although I know of submarines that have come through, and the government knows of it. So I'm a little bit new to the nuclear issue, and find a lot of the information I've recently learned very interesting and very relevant. Now I'm on the tour with the Baltic Sea tour, helping with awareness. I also do a lot of work with a group called the Zeitgeist Movement and the Venus Project, which was deals with a resource-based economy, which Dean mentioned at the end of yesterday. And one of the main things is promoting alternative energy, free energy, which doesn't use nuclear or any petroleum-derived energy. So just promoting the realization that we have the technology and the ability to make an abundance of energy and, well, everything that provides our food, our housing and everything we need to survive. So that's what I do mainly. I helped in New Zealand with a man who's doing a world tour, lecturing. He's 94 years old, and he's spent a lot of time designing systems to do with how we can change the way we do things. And
Venus Project.
The Venus Project.
What was his name?
Jacques Fresco.
Oh God, do you know him
Once
personally?
Oh yeah, I've spent many hours talking with him.
Oh,
He's
God.
a really amazing guy, and he's from about age 14 he rejected the system when he was at school, and they wanted him to swear allegiance to the flag, and he didn't. He got sent to the principal, and the principal said, "Well, what's wrong?" He said, "Well, why am I swearing to America? Why not the world?" And from then on, he got left alone, and he was allowed to take.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, so
Is there any other country apart from New Zealand that does not allow atomic-driven ships?
not that I know. As far as I know, New
In
Zealand.
Sweden, actually, my town had it as a town council question, but it was not accepted.
Mm.
We tried to make a nuclear-free zone. And I think Göteborg has decided not to accept any nuclear-driven, or if they don't tell that they have no nuclear weapon, because the American boats that come to Stockholm, they don't tell if they have it, so of course they have it.
Exactly, and so we no nuclear weapons, nuclear powered ships, or nuclear power plants or anything, but as the same as we were saying, they don't tell, so that America goes through with their submarines through New Zealand waters without telling us.
Thanks so much. Yeah. Okay, we will go on then.
Gunilla Davidson, Zero, Renew, Sweden.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Wolf Konowski. I'm actually a member of the country since it has been invaded by some corporations and overtaken by Western Germany. But I haven't been living in Germany anyway for over 10 years. I was mainly living in Britain, but heavily involved in the anti-nuclear stuff in fasting. Actually, initially with the Quakers. I don't know, we had a big campaign, Fasting 365. It was actually a campaign where lots and lots of people from all over the world were actually coming to Fasting to actually block the nuclear base, was actually deploy the nuclear submarines and have all these rockets. I don't know, the last day, the 1st of October 2007, was a big blockade. There was a bunch of, I don't know, Finnish people coming over, having a really, really interesting action where, I don't know, they set up a tripod, someone was even making some bubbles. So, I don't know, they actually taught me about all the issues. So for the last 2 years I've been traveling around, mainly in the Scandinavian countries, but heavily in Russia as well. And if possible, at a later stage I would actually like to talk a little bit about Russia, because there's an issue we shouldn't ignore.
So
but again, I
you
don't
would like to
represent
have
anyone but myself.
How many minutes would you like?
15 minutes? Oh.
10, okay?
Okay.
Everybody said 10, okay? Yeah?
Or 5.
Yeah.
5 plus question.
It must be max 10, yeah. So.
Okay, I'm Per Hegeler from Denmark. I'm on the board of the Baltic Sea Region Radioactivity Watch. And I was organized in Sweden for a long time. I lived in Sweden for more than 20 years, so I mostly worked with Swedish organizations. I've been many times to Finland as well. I'm going there latest tomorrow.
My name is Jan Hansson. I represent Klimataktion, or Climate Action, as we could call it in English. And we are an organization solely concentrating on the fact of diminishing the emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. So here I am more for the moment as an observer.
Did you organize the Malmö stop? Did you organize the Malmö stop?
No.
Of Baltic Sea tour? No?
No.
Okay.
You should have heard yesterday about the gases, climate aggressive gases coming out from the chimneys from the atomic.
We are aware of that.
Kanske du kan presentera dig just så kom just för everybody there has presented on that line, yeah? Okay.
In English?
Yes, please, if you can.
Yes, my name is Elisabeth Widbeck.
Representing an organization?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. Just this one.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome.
Okay, I'm Monica Dahlby in this organization.
She's in all organizations. Very good.
It's named the organization.
Anti-nuclear movement,
Oh.
I'm sure. Any groups that belongs there.
And I am also active in the Swedish anti-nuclear movement and a lot of other organizations. I currently doing voluntary work for the office here.
Anti-nuclear movement office, yeah, wonderful work.
And your name?
Inger Gobi.
And you sing beautifully Danish songs.
Since my native language is Danish.
Really?
With real camp spirit.
Okay, next.
Являюсь соучредителем общественного движения «Ученые за безъядерную Беларусь».
Георгий Федорович Лепин is representative of movement, scientist, Belarusian movement, scientist for nuclear-free Belarus.
Являюсь одним из экспертов группы, которая занимается анализом документов, представленных правительством по строительству атомной станции в Беларуси.
He is one of the members of the group who analyzing. It's non-government independent group of specialists which is analyzing official documentation about nuclear power station in Belarus.
Занимаюсь информированием населения о реальных условиях, к которым приведет строительство атомной станции в Беларуси.
Георгий Федорович informed the people, the population of Belarus about all the consequences of construction nuclear power station in Belarus.
Для этого изданы и размножаются несколько книг по атомной энергетике.
For information, he wrote some books, and just now he is disseminate the books, spreading his books. And Georgi Fedorovich is professor and specialist who many time of his life dedicated to investigating nuclear problems.
Which kind of professorship is
in Russian is technical sciences.
Technical sciences?
In the Soviet Union,
that is physics and chemics?
It's engineering.
Engineering,
Because Georgi Fedorovich Lepin investigated the problem of reactor, of using metals or construction from metal in the nuclear power stations reactors. And he specialized on the nuclear power.
Thank you. Maybe you have those CDs with the books you have, yeah?
Если у вас CD сейчас ваши книги, чтобы вы могли показать.
Да, есть.
Maybe there is anybody here in the group who has possibilities to multiply this CD to spread it in Sweden, whom Professor Lepin could give this to the CD that he wants to multiply, because we have had a hard time to find it.
Det är alltså böckerna på ryska och på engelska och en kortare tysk version.
Roland Carlsen, var det inte något för dig? Sprida det? I cirkeln?
If anybody has some possibilities there, please come and take some and multiply them. I mean, if you multiply them, yeah? Okay? Think about it.
Yeah, most laptops in the
De som skulle kunna kopiera CD-skivorna först.
Men det är väl så att eftersom man läser tillbaks imorgon så är det någon som känner att det kommer. Nu tyvärr skulle jag säga att den engelskan är väldigt rysk engelska så man måste ha lite fantasi för att förstå vad det handlar om.
Здесь нет.
Это последний,
But
keep
one,
no, not one, two, because we are going to scientists
У
tomorrow.
меня есть дома у меня их
Нет.
достаточно.
Мы пойдем к нашим работникам, оставьте нам.
Ursäkta att jag stör, men är den här platsen ledig?
Ja.
So anyway, we have here 5, so it would be nice if some people could spread them and the rest could be taken.
I'll try and multiply one on my computer.
Wonderful.
I'm actually going to buy a CD stacker for burning DVDs.
And I will represent myself. My name is Tanya Novikova. I'm from Belarus, from the same country that Baltic and I'm working as environmental activist and journalist for many years, more than 10 years. And just now I'm representative of Belarusian anti-nuclear campaigns, which are dedicated to fighting against project of construction in Belarus, which very suffered from Chernobyl, the first nuclear power station. We are against this project, and we not just against, but we make the joint work, as mentioned Georgi Fedorovich Lepin, to analyze the official documentation about this project, and we found the lie of this project, the errors of this project, the very big non-compliances to our legislation, to international legislation, and very big errors of this project. And we make real campaign against project of construction of Belarusian NPP. And in our country, the situation with democracy and with public movement is very hard and very difficult. And I like to represent to you the situation of now and show some pictures about our activities and about the situation with nuclear power station in Belarus, about construction, the process of construction that is not democratic, is not, it's very mad process, really mad. And I want to present you some pictures and tell some words after all in very detailed before.
Yeah, maybe we could try to plan it somewhere in the end. Those 3 presentations in the end, because the networking brainstorm moment is the most important battery system, yeah? As you suggested yourself, thank you.
My name is Olof Karlsson. I represent Zero, Swedish Energy Association, Renewable Energy Association, and we started in 1970s, and I was a member of Folkkampanjen at the very beginning, and I and my friends, we realized that if we ever could be rid of atomic power, then we must start growing up the alternatives. So we started building wind power stations, we started research station for fast-growing wood, salix, energiskog, and today we have had the biggest research farm in Europe in my hometown, Köping. The town let up the area about 50 hectares for research plantations, and that is good. So today we grow about 15,000 hectares of fast-growing wood in the middle of Sweden, Mälardalen, and it's expanding now very fast because it's not enough with wood chips for the sawmills of Sweden. We must grow new energy for support the needs for factories. And that way we are, our organization, have about 3,000 members, but there is active members. So they are dealing with some project of any kind. So I myself, I've been starting 3 wind companies, and one of them I was chairman at the beginning, is very successful, and it's one of the biggest in Sweden. So we are today we have 35 employees on Stena, and they are saying about 700 million Swedish crowns they turn around on that level. And one company in Ireland, there I'm the manager since the beginning, and we are investing 80 million just now in a new wind power station. We own 4 already, and we started in 1991. So we are very experienced, and our idea is get rid of nuclear power, let the alternatives grow up. And today we have a problem with a small hydropower. The environment organizations in Sweden are divided. The Greenpeace and the WWF will have the small stations left, so and take out about 4.3 terawatt hours electricity, and if you put that away, as 2 parties, Miljöpartiet and Vänsterpartiet, they wish to stop all that in small hydropower stations, and that will mean that we must build a restart Baltic or to get the corresponding production.
Is it, do they want small ones to be closed down, or not new ones to be started, even if there is an old dam which has been something?
But it's compared to get the volume. If you put down all small Swedish hydropower stations, you must replace their production in some way, and that in the worst case.
So you mean they want to close the ones that are there?
Yes.
That's strange, because the environmental damage is already done.
Yes. To get an it's ridiculous. But we try to explain this, because the dams connected to small radio stations, there use sedimentation for radioactive waste and for nutrients. So we have a problem with the Baltic Sea. We put there too much nutrients for övergödning, and we could stop that by sedimentation in the power dams, in the
They get stuck there.
hydro station. So the problem will worse if you go on and put down the small and let the river flows.
Thank you. Thank you. Would you like to have a presentation about something like more?
He's already had like.
Yes. Can I just ask a question about the wind?
Wait, I would like to have. Would you like to have a presentation about something? 10 minutes? No.
5 minutes plus questions.
No. Nothing.
Not now, but
No.
Can I just ask?
I mean today.
It's very interesting.
Better to let the person ask the question right now.
The wind power, the companies with the wind power, are they doing any work, construction or research to do with alternative wind powers, with maglev, you say horizontally rotating opposed to the the turbines that we see now, the newer technology of wind power, they're doing anything with that?
Yes, we have 4 wind power, vertical wind, in 200 kilowatt power. So we are trying that.
With the maglev?
Yes, we think that would be a very good idea. It's loudness.
Yeah. I've seen one that's, well, it's quite a large scale for a gigawatt.
Yes, in Sweden we are to...
Okay, thank you. We will not go into detail yet. Andre and Roland left, yeah?
And me.
And Christopher...
Shall we do the right round?
Well, I don't have to be involved.
Come in the middle.
I can't video myself.
You just have to get somewhere where you can do video.
Okay. Yes. Well, then I'll go back in there. Right, I'm Chris Busby. I'm a scientist, and my project is to undermine the basis of nuclear energy. So the way to kill the beast is to cut off its blood supply. And its blood supply is it's the laws that permit it to release radioactivity to the environment. And these laws are set so that people get a certain dose, and above that dose the laws say they cannot have. So if the nuclear power stations produce any sort of releases that increase the doses to the level where they're beyond the law, then they have to be shut down. And the key issue is now, what is the meaning of dose? So we have questioned that we have shown, we've demonstrated, and they now accept that dose is meaningless for internal radionuclides. So in a sense we have already destroyed them. It's just a question of waiting for them to sink, or finding a strategy that will force the politicians to realise that this is the case. So at the moment the problem is that there's this barrier between the scientific understanding of radiation risk and the politicians, because there's a control system there. Anyway, I won't go on and on about it. What I would like is 5 minutes to just discuss my strategy for this, because my feeling is that these networking situations are great, and a lot of anti-nuclear people get together and they all have their projects and so on, but unless we have some action that will change something, then nothing will happen. We'll just have a lot of meetings, and I remember meetings, I've been in this since 1992. Talked to lots of people, and things have moved slowly, and there'll be lots and lots of meetings, but action is what will change things. And there are some action suggestions which I do have, which I will lay out before you later on.
Thank you. I suggest that you can have your 10 minutes directly after presentations, because we have one person who wants to go soon, and she's come to discuss that, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So you will have the first possibility after the presentation. But please, Andre and Roland.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Andrei Zharovsky. I am from Russia. I am a part of Eco-Defense Group, which is one of the biggest anti-nuclear resistance group in my country. I am involved in international projects, but it's not my main business. Our country have a lot of problems and quite pro-nuclear government, and 7 reactors under construction right now, so I have many things to do in my country, but I use this opportunity to be here with you. I can tell you about the situation in Russia, but I don't think it's relevant here. How I would like to spend this 2 hours, or less than 2 hours now. I want to discuss why we did not have publicity. Why the day before yesterday we had this press conference with only 1 journalist attendant. Why we had a nice rally, many tourists took pictures with me inside the barrel or with this funeral procedure, but it was not covered with the media. When, if I still have 30 seconds, I can tell you that when we planned the rally in Russia, we prefer to do a smaller staff with 5 people, but we would put, I don't know, a huge banner from one of the bridges in your nice Stockholm city, and it could be good food for the media. Then more people know that there are people concerned, that there is a problem, there are people who are against the decision of July 17th and things like that. So I think that probably this networking here should be more concentrated on the problems of the country where we are in, not on something else. And if I can share my experience, if it can be useful for Swedish anti-nuclear movement, that would be great.
Will you try to do the presentation?
I don't think it's relevant.
Okay.
I do have a presentation of how we do with the issue in Russia. If you want, I can share it with you. No problem.
We'll
I'm
see.
flexible,
Okay. Okay, we'll see
I
how
don't
it goes.
insist.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Roland from Malmborg, and some 3 years ago the regional division of the anti-nuclear movement for Stockholm said we're going to stop the organization. So I said, well, if you stop the organization, no work will be done. I cannot do less than 0, so I can try. I can't promise what I can do, sort of. So, but it has, the work is very weak. We have not very much money, and we have great personal conflicts in the national movement. So I was some years in the national board too, but now I'm not. and then I'm also the chairman then of the Baltic Sea Radioactivity Watch, and unfortunately Dita was in the other side of the Baltic till a few days ago, and I haven't been efficient to make everything that should be done. I'm not good at decentralizing, delegating the work. So I also say that we perhaps should make an evaluation to see how can we make it work better next time, whatever it is. But also I want us to discuss what good actions can we do, and perhaps some of them can be coordinated over the whole of Europe. My wild plan is that we should get a few thousand at least Swedish households write 3 letters. It costs them very little. 1 letter to their electricity company, which we can choose in Sweden. We can choose any company. The other letter to their bank, and the 3rd letter to their pension fund or whatever fund they have. And all the letters should say, we want an answer within 1 month that you will not put any fresh money into atomic power. You will not buy more atomic power. And a similar thing actually, and that if we don't get an answer within a month, or if you don't agree to this, we will change. And in Sweden we have 2 ecological banks, for example, and we have many electric companies which are owned by the towns, and then the money goes back to the people and so on. But we don't have the alternative share fund yet, so we'll have to make that. And this is an idea which we could spread around the world, because in Austria I heard that a bank was going to lend money to the atomic industry, and some people phoned and said, if you do, we will take all our money out, and they said, haha, do it. But